And hello, everybody. Welcome to the formerly known as Paranormal Guys. We are now the Sport Cat Show, but we still talk about the paranormal. It's been a rough day to be a content creator, and I'll be quite honest, my headspace wasn't where I wanted it to be for the show, but I'd made the decision that we're going to have a show and we're going to go forward and go from there. So let me welcome my wonderful and beautiful co-host, Harley. Welcome, welcome.
Caught me biting my fingernail. Hello, Glenn.
Stop
How are
biting
you?
your fingernail.
Well, it's not really my fingernail. It's like the side of my nail where the loose skin is.
It's too much information, Harley. Uh,
Well, you know what? My ADHD is all over the place today, and when that happens, I tend to give too many details.
yeah, well, since my loss of a coworker, my PTSD has been through the roof, so I get it. And as always, we have a wonderful chat. Hello,
Hello,
Denise.
Denise.
And hello, I guess Beth.
Beth
Thank you for coming over.
Bonds.
And thank you for coming over. Appreciate it. Please go to the Sport Cat shows and subscribe. And then Chris is in there somewhere. I saw him. So, but they're all important. But I'm certainly most happy to announce that we have a wonderful guest tonight, Susan. Well, she's going to keep me in line and tell me some things. And here we go. So, Susan, welcome. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much, Glenn, for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. If I don't know if you can tell, but it's been a very rough day, content creator wise, because of what was going on in the real world, and then, well, you know the backstory on my family and all that. So, plus, if you're psychic, you probably figured the rest out. So, just hope you haven't seen me naked. That's
yeah, about that.
Ooh, we'll talk later. I'll send the cash. I'm embarrassing Harley here. Well, Susan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
You should know that.
Well, you look a little red. Of course, I look red too, but it's probably because my blood pressure's up. So Susan, tell us about yourself. I know we've had to reschedule you, I think twice now, and I've been wanting to have you on so long because we've talked back and forth in emails, and you give off such a positive vibe, and I definitely need that tonight or this week. So thank you. But enough
Chris
about
said you're embarrassing him too.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. Well, Chris, I still love you. So tell us about yourself, and then basically we're going to let you have the run of the show. So you're in charge.
Wow, that is huge.
I think you can
so
handle
much.
It. My two members in the audience appreciate it.
I love it. So I've been like texting, messaging, sharing. I put it in our group for the link to come join us live. Yeah. So a little bit about me. I decided in 1968 that I would hang out in utero for 18 extra days after my mom's water broke.
Wow.
So as an EMT, you know, like they don't do that.
No.
Like, no. Yeah. Like nowadays, your water breaks, you're getting a baby in the next 24, 48 hours. Either you're going into labor, they will induce you, or you will have a C-section. But the baby's coming. So back in 1968, this was in Massachusetts, I was like, am I coming? Am I going? Am I doing this? Am I not doing this? Like, I'm just not so sure. So I hung out in utero after my mom's water broke for 18 days, from August 22nd to September 8th. So I was born on September 8th. Do you know the best advice that they had back then?
Walk.
Yeah, I was going to say walk or.
Oh, no. So the doctor says to my dad, look, every day when you get home from work, take your wife on a bumpy road. We'll get that baby out. So as much as education-wise, medical, Boston Hospital, MIT, Cambridge, Tufts, like they were big in the education department, and that was the best advice, was take your wife on a bumpy road. So when
that could explain so many babies I've delivered in an ambulance in the back with all the bumps.
That must be a thing.
It could
It
be.
must work someplace, somewhere, sometime. Just not for me.
Nature takes its course one way or the other. So I've delivered them in the house, in a Walgreens parking lot, in the back of an ambulance. I don't know, some other places too, I'm sure.
Denise says, happy belated birthday, Susan.
Oh, thank you so much, Denise. I appreciate that. Yay.
Denise is doctor. So
Denise is a doctor?
No, she just said her birthday.
Oh,
were you not listening?
Well, I was. Okay, sorry, I didn't get that out of it.
So
Chris says,
you should
he's
smoke
right.
cigarettes.
He's right.
It's so funny he said that because, a whole week goes by, and I said, well, let me just say it this way, that we didn't figure this out until maybe about 3 to 5 years ago, that was 18 days. See, my whole life, I was made wrong. If anyone's going to be late, it's going to be Susan, because she was late to her birth. Ha, ha, ha.
Ah, okay.
So projection of lateness, not being on time, all that kind of stuff. So I just created that as my reality. And I just showed up and it was like, okay, so Susan's here and now everything can start. Like now you can have dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, open presents, whatever it is. So it was a running joke in the family that if anyone was going to be late, it would be me. So it wasn't until I had left Massachusetts, moved to Florida, was working with the angelic realm, and my guardian angel tapped me on the shoulder and said, do the math on that. And I was like, oh, okay. September or August 22nd, September 8th. That's when I realized it was 18 days. And I asked my dad, I was like, did you really? He goes, no, because we never kept track of that stuff. I'm like, how did you not know it was 18 days? Right? Like it just wasn't a thing back then. So I was wondering like what was happening. And he said he took her. That was the advice. I said, well, how long did you wait? Like what happened after that? He says, well, I did that for a week and then I took her back. And I'm like, what did the doctor say? She's like, the doctor said, do you like to drink? To my mother.
What?
Right. Yeah. Do you like to drink? And they're like, well, I'm Italian, I'll have a glass of wine, that kind of a thing. And so I think you're just holding on to the baby and you're not like, you're like clamping down on her or something, like, so he wanted her to start drinking to just kind of relax everything, naturally sort of just like let the baby out, like there was a lock and a key on this kind of thing. And yeah, that didn't work either. So pretty much it was just when I came, I decided to be here. And surprisingly, 56 years later, here I am. And there is so much to tell you about, so many things to share, to create a different possibility for you, Glenn, Harley, your audience, everybody all together. What questions do the audience have?
Oh.
Denise, they still say that when your baby's overdue, they still say that.
I didn't want to say that because I was outnumbered. So
no, it's true. That was my son chose to come.
I was going to make a joke that I spent 9 months in there and the rest of my life trying to get back in there, but that's another story. So
yes. It's that safety, it's that womb, it's that protection, it's that whole thing. So
no, I never. I ran from that, so I'm good.
Did you? You were like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'll see you next time.
I was a good hand holder. That was about it for me in my part. So because like I said, I have learned you can, because we used to joke, tie their legs together with tape before you get to the hospital, so you'll have the baby. But you learn after a while that it's going to happen no matter what. And I freaked a bunch of firemen out and, I'm like, well, that's not normal. I need some help. And so, sometimes you just got to roll with what you're given. So,
yeah.
Well, we talked a little backstage, just to bring you up to speed. I've had a real rough couple weeks. I lost a close family member, which we talked about. Tuesday, I think it was, a former coworker of mine. He was a firefighter with the Cobb County Fire Rescue. He went in searching for another set of firefighters that was lost. He was killed in the commercial fire. And so it's just been a rough couple days plus. everything's built up. And I've told Harley, and my fans know that I've probably said this online. I haven't had my moment, so to speak, about everything that's going on. And a lot of it's kind of pent up. So I've just personally been about ready to throw the towel in on everything. I mean, honestly, I don't know how else to put it, but I'm just kind of disgusted with everything.
Yeah, you're kind of like, I'm out.
Yeah. I just want to retreat to the safety of, like you said, somewhere. And, I don't know. So I guess my question is, and I'm not asking about the future or anything like that, but does it get any better? It seems like these past few months, maybe the past year, everything has been overshadowed by something.
Yeah, I would love to speak to that. So there is the light and the dark kind of a thing. And I was brought up Catholic. And so when I arrived, like, I didn't have the veil. So for me, I could see the unseen, hear the unheard, and I knew the unknown. And that was something that was, for me, growing up, was just like, I thought everybody like lived that way. And so we haven't really figured out if it's just my family or the Italians, because I grew up Italian. But we had the same picture of our relatives, our dead relatives, just in a different frame, in a different place in our house. So my aunt and uncle had the same sets of family members, different frames, different places. My grandmother and my mom, small family, grandmother, mom, and uncle. So when we would all get together for family events, they would show up by their pictures. So they would hang out in whatever their attire was for their generation, and they would be hanging out by their picture, just having their own little, it's just like Harry Potter. When Harry Potter would look at the pictures, like they would animate,
Mm-hmm.
would, if it was like a chariot and a horse, and the chariot and the horse would run through the picture kind of a thing and then come back. It's just like that. So in my great grandfather's case, he was, had the top hat, the tails in the back, the pocket watch, the cane, and he was looking for my grandmother, and he was having what I would call like a total come apart. Basically, he's, stamping his feet, he's pacing back and forth. And I had not seen him like that. So I just get up, I walk over to him, which is the wall with a picture on it. And I said, Nonu Josh, what's happening? And he said, where's Nona Betta? Because dinner's supposed to be here. It's supposed to be on the table. It's past the time. I'm hungry. I'm ready to eat. That's when I realized that they were in their own combined loop. And they looped this same scenario. So I leaned back, because in between my great grandfather's picture and my great grandmother's picture was the curio cabinet. When I leaned back, I noticed her picture was not there. So she was not there. So I looked to my aunt and I said, where's her picture? And my aunt had told me it had fallen off, and it was an old antique picture frame. So it's not like we could just take it to Hobby Lobby and have them like Elmer's glue it back together. Like, they needed to take the gold filigree and like really, get it working again. And so I said, she's probably just with her picture. He's like, what? Like, could not understand what I was saying. And I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm like, look, you said you were hungry. I'm like, we're about to have dinner. Why don't you come have dinner with us? So he was like, oh, okay. He's like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm your great granddaughter. And I turn around and my mother is right there. And
oh gosh.
Yeah. So my mother was brought up Catholic, went to Catholic school, graduated from a Catholic high school. Yeah. Had the whole nun thing, ruler on the knuckles, the whole thing. Yeah. So she was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm talking to Nona Josh. And she was just like, there's nobody here. And I said, well, he's right here. And I looked, and he had already dissipated. Like, he had already left, like whatever he needed, whatever he was there for, he got, kind of a thing. And he left. And I said, well, that's it. She just said, that may not be something that you want to talk about or share with other people. I was like, okay. Message received. Got it. New assignment. Don't talk about this. So my whole life growing up, I just never really fit in, because I knew so much about so many things, with people that it was beyond what people could comprehend. So you're talking about this reality now, like right now, this is exactly why we're here. This is exactly what's happening. The best advice, if someone was to ask me for my advice, would be to not try and figure it out, because that's what you were taught to do. So you were taught to get the right answer, figure it out, make a good choice. Am I right?
Pretty much.
So if you could have figured out, made the right choice, right, how to have a totally amazing, incredibly abundant life, like, don't you think you would have by now?
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. So what if it's not about figuring anything out?
Okay.
What if it's about the energy? Because see, we were all taught that our native language was the language we learned at home. Am I right? Would you agree? So that's not actually true. Your first language was energy. So you know how babies and animals, when they're in the room, you know, they'll look up at something, a curtain, a window, a corner, a picture, something, and they'll just start giggling, laughing, or staring and following something. And you're there looking at them going, well, what is the baby looking at? Or like, what's got the dog all spooked out? Well, they read energy because they were not told that you couldn't see it yet. So what happens is, as you're growing up, you create neural pathways as you're learning. So as kids, you're told that this frequency is blue. This frequency is black. This frequency is silver. Repetition, 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 Glenn, creates a neural pathway. So pretty soon you don't actually see the energy. You just see the color and know the name of it. That's how you get indoctrinated into the box of this reality. So you're told that those colors, and we're Gen X. So remember that large crayon box?
Oh gosh. Yes. Remember the pin with the 4 colors that clicked? So yeah, I'm with you.
And it had the little like sharpener right in the back, and you would get it like Easter, Christmas kind of a thing. And you didn't want anyone to touch your crayons because they could break it. You know, that was us, right? And so if it wasn't in the crayon box, then it didn't have a name, a meaning, or a color. It didn't exist. And our imaginary friends were imaginary because we imagined them because no one else could see them but us, which really was when we were seeing the energy and we were not indoctrinated quite yet. So what do kids ask when they're 2? What is that magic question that frustrates the parents?
Well, right now with my grandson, it's why.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. Why for 200? Yes. Yes, exactly, Chris. Yeah, so at 2, the kids realize, they know, they have figured it out, that there's a different possibility available to the adults in their life that the adults are not choosing, that would create way more fun, way more abundance, way more health, vitality, whatever it happens to be. And they are trying to figure out why the adults are not choosing that. So as adults, what do we tell our kids? No, you can't wear your Spider-Man costume to school. No, why not? Because that's not what we do. We don't wear, we wear our school clothes to school. Well, why can't I wear my princess dress to church? Well, because we don't do that. You know what I mean? Those are our answers. And we are form-fitting and fitting them in the box of this reality versus asking them a question. So why is it that your body would like to wear your princess dress? Like, what will that do for you and your body? Because see, this is where we were also lied to. Well, the doctrination that came in, I should say, is that you were taught that the soul is in the body.
Yes.
Right? When actually the soul is infinite and the body is finite. The body is in the soul. So scientists have proven that everything is energy. Everything.
Mhm.
The food we eat, the clothes we wear, the technology we're using is all energy. Energy is made of molecules, particles, atoms, neutrons. Then you go to the double slit experiment. Do you know about that one?
Yep. Talking about quantum mechanics. Yep.
Exactly. Quantum mechanics tells us that when the observer is not present, the particles act randomly.
Mhm.
When the observer is present, the particles act as though the observer is giving it instructions. So guess who the observer is in your life, in your reality?
I
You
guess, yeah, I was gonna say you, yeah.
You're there. So guess who's creating their reality?
This guy.
Yes, exactly. You're creating. So if you don't like the reality you have, we need to get together because there are some systems, programmings, loops, limitations that are running in the background that no longer serve you, that we just need to drop, kick
Makes
to the
sense. Yeah.
side, just get rid of it because like attracts like here on the planet. And when you have things in your field that you have no knowledge of, that are from your past, that you brought in from a previous lifetime, that have been passed down from your ancestors, that are spinning karma, which show up as tornadoes when I'm with a client, what happens is all of that is happening and your cup is full. Because if you could have figured it out, you would have. So if I start teaching, educating right out of the top, what happens is we're going to make a mess on the table and it's going to end up on the floor. So we have to take some time to dump your cup out. So that way, here, I'll show you with my beautiful, my lemonade. We have to dump some of your cup out so that way you have space to invite in that which you'd like to have in your life. Isn't this beautiful? This was given to me by my apprentice this year.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah. That makes sense because we, as a peer counselor for responders, we use the each call is like a pair of socks, and you put that pair of socks in a drawer and you forget about it. One day you're gonna put a call in there, socks, and it's not gonna fit, and you're not gonna know what the hell to do, and that's when your body starts having a perfectly normal reaction to an abnormal situation. And that goes right with that. Yeah, agree. And in being a PTSD, I don't know what to call it, survivor, but victim, whatever, it is been a lot of teaching that the brain does reprogram. It totally rewires. When I was diagnosed with PTSD by an orthopedic surgeon, I literally had a meltdown, totally unlike my behavior. I mean, I literally was laying on the ground crying. I was surprised they didn't hospitalize me, but
it was like fetal position crying.
Yes, absolutely. I was because I didn't realize I was hurting. Yeah, I didn't realize I was sick.
Yes.
Yeah, I needed somebody to affirm, I guess. It was probably in the back part of my mind, but I needed someone to affirm it. And when an orthopedic surgeon, one of this man's talent and level, that was it. I was done. And so, yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So come to find out, like the work I do now is I eliminate the patterning, the programs, the loops. So I'm able to go into your subconscious because scientists tell us that your subconscious creates your reality. So I go into the subconscious and I pull out the unconsciousness that's in there. And your whole life changes radically, dramatically, instantly, and a lot of times permanently. But you do have free will, so you're always welcome to call anything back in.
Absolutely. Is it now with your treatment, is it almost like a hypnotherapy type of thing or?
No, actually. So I don't know how I do this. It's just that I can do this.
Okay.
So I asked when my guardian angel came to me and said, do the math on that. all of a sudden it was like, well, where was I for 18 days? Like, what was I doing? Instant healing. Yeah. What was I doing? Like, am I just hanging out inverted? Like, is all the blood rushing in my head? Like, am I coming? And what's going on? And that's when this lucid dream screen dropped down and I could see like every particle and like time stops. And I'm in heaven, for lack of a better word, with God or source, for lack of a better name. And I'm arguing. And I'm like, no. See, I know the rules up here. I'm like, I know that I get to choose if I'm going to take this on or not. And you know what? I'm tapping out. There's got to be somebody else more qualified up here than me to go do this lifetime. And source, God, says, oh, no, Susan, it has to be you. And I throw a full tantrum. I'm like, why? Why does it have to be me? And source, God, opens his arms like this and he goes, look here. So I look in, there's all these twinkling lights. And I'm like, oh, wow, like, what's that? And he says, those are the souls waiting for you to get to earth, for you to help them on their soul's evolution, which is why we incarnate. Yeah. So that's when I was like, okay, because I was trying to bargain. I was just like, look, I'll do it. I'll go. I promise. I swear I'll go. But 100 years from now, when Earth's a nicer place and humans are like more kind to each other. And he's like, no, it has to be now. Because all of the souls that I come in contact with, this is why they're here, is to have me help them, support them on their evolutionary process, which is why we come down here anyways, to incarnate. And this is what we're taught. We're taught that things happen to us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, and even in therapy, you're reinforced with that. Like, what happened to you? What happened next? What happened after that? Nowhere were we taught that you are creating your reality. That's the mix-up. Because you're taught everything happened to you. So then you can shift blame, shame, regret, and guilt on and off to someone and something else, in a situation, a relationship, an event, versus asking a question. Because anytime you ask a question, you empower yourself. So for instance, I got diagnosed 8 months after my son was born. I lost the vision in my right eye with multiple sclerosis. It's something you're not supposed to get better from. You're not supposed, it's a progressive thing, like you're never getting rid of it. Yeah. And it happens to be the one thing that my husband, which I'm divorced from him, could not handle. He was someone who never went to the doctor, never took an aspirin. It just wasn't his thing. So I create something that's going to require a lot of appointments and different kinds and specialists. And it's going to be a wait kind of a thing. So we were brought up Catholic. We were, both of our families, our grandmothers were still alive, both all Catholic, and, divorce was not a thing. So guess who goes and creates the one thing that he can't handle, understand, or deal with? So he ends up leaving, and it was the best thing. It was the nicest gift he gave my son and I. Because when I was diagnosed, I realized, wait a minute. I'm like, I'm in an abusive marriage. My closest family is 10 states away. I'm like, they want me in the hospital for IV steroids for a week. I have an 8-month-old that I'm breastfeeding. Like, this is not happening, people. like what is going on? And so everything fell apart. And it wasn't until like a few years later when one of my mentors said to me, so what was right about that you weren't getting? Another moment. We had been in decision, judgment, justification. It was like, he did this and she did that. And what happened till death do us part? And what happened in his sickness and in health? And how could he leave? And what, all this kind of stuff was projected on us. And we just like went right with it because that's how we were taught. This is what happened to me. Look what happened to me. This happened. When I asked the question, what's right about this I'm not getting, I got my awareness of now I get to parent the way I truly had always wanted to parent. It's with conscious parenting that I would not have been able to do if he was a part of our lives. And that was the greatest gift. He could have kept lying. He could have kept stringing me along. Like, I love this man. And I just would have, like, you can't give up, keep trying, don't quit, just like Nike, just do it. I mean, that was the programming that we were getting this whole time. And so everything shifted and changed. And that was the greatest gift he gave both our son and myself, was to just leave. As difficult as it was, as the struggle, it happened. I entered a trial drug study. I was doing chemo and steroids. Like, yeah, it was that was happening. To realizing that I created that. I was like, oh my God, I'm like, check it out. I'm like, I didn't just mess around with my creation. Like, I went all in. I was like, Texas Hold'em, here you go. We're all game on. We're all in. And that's what got me started with asking questions. So we call it question sessions with my clients and I. And I was asked last year to create an energetic gift and sent it to the gift lounge at the Oscars. So at the Academy Awards, the nominees got my gift, and it was a pendulum with an amethyst crystal on the end, and a QR code, which had me giving them instructions through video on how to successfully use a pendulum to gain the awareness, which gives you empowerment in making choices and going forward in your life. Because what happens is, going back to the soul, Glenn, you're not the soul. You have a body, and then there's a soul. Now, your body's the one that wears the clothes, not you. But you decide for the body every day what clothes your body's going to wear. And you are the soul. You're not the body. The body's the one that eats the food. But you decide every day, without consulting the body, what food that your body's going to eat and consume. And the same thing with like sexual relations. The body's the one that has it. You don't. You are the being. You're the soul. You're the spirit. And so that is a huge aha moment for people when they're like, yes. And see, we've been disconnected from our bodies ever since we've been little, because we were asked, so what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want for breakfast? Where do you want to go after that? What sports do you want to play this year? What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want for your birthday? What do you want for Christmas? That word want programming, the word want, the definition was physically changed on us in the 40s. War.
Mm-hmm.
So when we think of the word want and we use it now, we were taught to use it to actually bring in the things that we wanted, right?
Sure.
The harder you want, the harder you wish, the more you desire, the more it will show up. Not true. Want definition is lack, less than, and not enough. And Harley, that's so cool that you just yawned, because yawning, burping, passing gas, like all that, that's your body's way of eliminating unconsciousness that's been held inside. Yeah. So if that's one thing I could give you and your audience, is to eliminate the word want from your vocabulary. And it has been the most challenging thing for my clients to eliminate it, because even in the face of total awareness of what it is, what it means, and how it affects your reality, they still use it. And they still use it unconsciously, to where they're like, no, I didn't. And I'm like, yeah, well, you kind of just did. They're like, no, nope, I know. And we shut the recording off. We go back and we rewatch it. And they're like, I absolutely did say it. And it was one of those catch-22s where, like, yeah. So being hyper vigilant about want, because see, when you want something, it's always in your future. Glenn and Harley, you can't have it in the present if you want it, because it's always going to be in the future. And want means you can't have. So we have to eliminate the word want from our vocabulary, and everyone else from their vocabulary, and then from their vocabulary. Like, us, our significant others, our coworkers, our children, like pass it on.
Yeah. Well, it
Delete.
is true. Yeah. Now, how does this fall in with manifestation?
Yeah. So manifestation is requiring space in your cup, in your vessel, in your field, that you can invite in that which you like to have. So what happens is there are high frequencies, low frequencies, but that's polarity, and polarity is not true. So things aren't right and wrong, good and bad, but that's what you're taught. It's more, and you can relate to this, the Gen Xers. Do you remember the dial on our radio? And you would roll the dial to the left or to the right, and you would hone in on a particular station, which is a frequency, and you could get a clear connection, which is your vibration, right? And if you're a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, like you're not quite on it, you maybe have two stations happening at the same time, or you have static. It's not a connect. That is what emotional frequency is. So the chart you'll see is stacked like this. I rotate it so it's horizontal. So it's not high and low, it's left and right. And we're just going to dial in the frequencies. So if death is on one end and enlightenment is on the other end, do you know there are 8 frequencies just above death?
No, I didn't know that.
Would you like to know what they are?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So if you have any of these going on today or this week, just give me a thumbs up or raise your hand. So anger,
Yes.
rage,
Pretty much, yeah.
fury,
What was that one? I'm sorry, you broke up.
fury, anger, rage, fury,
Maybe, yeah.
hate. You hate it. Can't
I
stand
hate
it.
some of the feelings, yes, but yeah.
Yes. Hate. Hate is a feeling.
Mhm.
How about blame?
I've been
Shame.
pretty good in that one my whole life, so yeah.
So you've been a blamer, shamer. Yep. Regret and guilt.
Absolutely.
Those are the 8 frequencies that are just above death. So when you look at a 24-hour period of time, thoughts are energy, is energy. Thoughts are energy. Feelings are energy, and emotions are energy. So thoughts, feelings, and emotions also are consciousness, and consciousness creates. And so what I teach you when we work together is how to command consciousness to create a different collaboration in this reality. So I command the consciousness of the molecules, and then everything starts to talk to me. Yeah. So that was pretty interesting when that showed up. But honestly, the biggest thing to shift your reality as fast as possible is to eliminate the word want and insert I am and I have, because that's the present. When you talk about things that happened in the past, and then you start to go about your day, or you're at lunch and you're talking with friends about the past or what you don't have that's coming in the future, you actually drop your level, your vibrational frequency, to whatever that level is. And then you start to create your day from there. So you drop down, and now you're creating at such a low vibrational frequency, like attracts like, you are creating a lower vibrational reality. So people, places, things, ideas, adventures are all on the low vibrational frequency end, versus the emotional frequency just below God's consciousness is gratefulness. Gratefulness is the highest frequency that we can be. And gratefulness is different than gratitude. So we were taught to say please and thank you, to use your manners, to use your words. Yeah, like, did you thank your aunt for the gift? Did you call your grandmother and, wish her a Merry Christmas, or thank her for her birthday gift, whatever kind of a thing? And so that was considered gratitude. Show your gratitude. And gratitude comes with obligation and responsibility. And it's an action you have to do. But we're not human doings, we're human beings. So the frequency of gratitude, and how many of us were told to have a gratitude journal? and write down 3 things that were, do you see what I'm getting at?
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So gratefulness is a frequency of being, because you are grateful without anything in return. You can just be grateful for someone's kindness. You can be grateful for someone's words that they shared with you. You can be grateful for the blessings that you received. Gratefulness is a state of being. There's no obligation and responsibility. It's not a program. It won't loop for you. Gratefulness is human being. And that is our natural state. So anywhere throughout your day where you are not in gratefulness, you don't have gratefulness in your thoughts, in your feelings, in your emotions, you are functioning from below your maximum high frequency enlightenment state of being. So everything you're talking about that's happening, all the storms and fires and, people being murdered and all that kind of stuff, that's all directly intended to bring up fear, sadness, anger, to get you upset, because that's going to drop your frequency. And when you have fear in place, you're easier to manipulate. So, like, for instance, during COVID, we were told, look, you've got to get your vaccination for your family, and if you've got someone who's older, you have to get vaccinated for them, because you don't want to give it to them, because then it'll be your fault. So everyone is like, had pressure on you to do it.
Yep.
And now we found out that that was all not true. So back when that was, right? Like,
yeah, I could go on more about that. Yes, but yes, you're correct.
Is this a game changer conversation for you guys?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, besides for talking about the intent, I wasn't aware. I'm not sure who tries to put you in that box or if you put yourself in that box, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Well, you're trained in it. You're entrained with it. So what happens is, this is the cool part. So, when you're in kindergarten and you learn to count, so you're counting everything: pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, clothespins. Do you remember clothespins when we were growing up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they would be in a little container, and you'd have that game where you try to drop them in from a high distance. Our kids don't know about that. We all use dryers now. So we were the clothespin generation.
Well,
So
see, I'm younger than both you, but my grandparents raised me, so I grew up with the clothesline in the backyard for the clothespins. Because even as they got older, they still washed their blankets and hung them to dry, because
yes,
they said the
Yeah.
smell from the outside air was better than the dryer.
yes, yes. And the sunlight sanitized everything. Yeah. And it was the fresh air. Even in the wintertime in Massachusetts, they would come in stiff as a board, frozen. Was
Yes.
I mean, even being an '80s baby raised in the '90s, I was still taught older values being raised with my grandparents.
Yeah. So you have some
So
good old programming.
for me being turning 40 next month, people my age annoy every brain cell I have in my brain, because of the fact that I was raised different than them. I was raised to be manners, please and thank you. And my kids, taught them what I was taught. And they don't say they want things, because I was told it's always need over want. Need isn't what you get. You don't always get what you want. And I was always taught not to think you if you say I want this, you don't necessarily going to get that. It's what you need, not what you want. So we have that mindset in our house, want over a need over want. So my kids know they're going to get what they need, not what they want. And so that's how they've been raised.
And that's all the box that we've put our kids in, versus asking a question.
Oh, my
So-
kids, we've always told them, we've given them the freedom to ask questions, because of the fact that we want them to know how and why, and know that no matter what they ask or say, there's always a action for everything. And like we have spirits in our house and they know that. We have quite a few spirits. We hear them walking at night and we know that. And they're family members and we know they're not here to hurt us. And we've got quite a few of them. Yep, right over there.
Hanging out with us right now, getting some screen time.
Lord knows who's got surrounded me.
Yeah.
But because of how I was raised, I have more of a like I can see things that most people can't see my age. And my husband's the same way. He's real sensitive when it comes to spirits and stuff like that. And so are my children because we've raised them with the concept of there's things that we can't see out there and never be closed-minded on anything.
Yeah. It's so interesting how the different generations were brought up with what systems and programmings they had in place and how we look at, the newer generations and what we sort of, stack them into and put them into certain places with things. But yeah. So if I were to ask you, Glenn, like what would be your biggest problem? Like what's your greatest challenge? What's your like the hard issue going on with you? And would you like to delete it?
Well, yes, it would, but I don't know how to word the. It's almost like you were saying, the mindset. You know, I'm in a bad dark place. How about that?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, would abandonment fall into what's happening?
I think that's me.
You talking about in the past?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, you both have it. You're both reading yes for abandonment. So what happens is you've both had it now, in the past, and in a previous lifetime. And you've come in now, and guess what frequency attracted you two together? Like attracts like, it was abandonment. And you both can relate to that with each other because you've both had that. And you've both been on both sides of it. So you've abandoned things, people, places, stuff, and you have been abandoned. So you've been on both sides of the coin. And what happens is you've been in every form of it. So abandon, abandoned, abandons, abandoning, abandoned. Yeah. So all of the forms of the frequency of it. So what I do is we will delete it and we go back through all time, space, place, dimensions, realities, universe, non-universe. Like we go through the whole thing. We collapse it. We eliminate it from the body, being, or in reality. And what that does is that drops your full cup down a level and you have more space. And because that frequency is low vibration, because what comes with abandonment? Like sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
anxiety, yeah, all kinds of things.
You get mad about it. Like, what is going on? Why me? Right? Then it's like, what's going on? You just can't fathom having this happen so often, so frequency, over and over again, and choosing the people who do that. So we're going to get it out of your frequency, out of your field, out of your body, so that you can have a different possibility that doesn't include abandonment. Would that be cool with you guys?
It would be amazing. Yeah.
All right. So we do this with our breath. So in a second, I'm going to have you take a deep breath in. You're going to hold it while I call up the frequencies of what this is that we're clearing. And then I'll say out on 3 and it leaves. And that's when you're going to blow it out forcefully. Okay. So kind of take a note of your body right now. Take a note of the feeling. Where's the pain? Where's the sadness? Where's the anger? Where's the regret? Yeah. Yeah. And so your body is actually more conscious than you are because you have points of view about things and your body doesn't. So that's why we defer to the body with the pendulum, with testing. Yeah, because our body will tell us the truth and we will think we know the truth. And we go with like, well, I really want that chocolate cookie. And the body's like, don't touch that cookie because it is not going to be good for me. It's not going to settle well. It's going to bring up my blood pressure, all that caffeine. It's too late at night in chocolate. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why we would defer to the body. So go ahead and take a deep breath in and hold it. Yeah. Cool. So all the thoughts, feelings, and emotions, all the polarities, all the places you were made right, the places you were made wrong, everywhere you were taught, told to do, and you did honor and agree. Yeah. Anything that aligns and agrees and resists and reacts to the frequency of abandon, abandonment, abandoning, abandoned, abandons through all time, space, place, dimensions, realities, universes, everywhere you were the one who did it, everywhere you were the one who received it. Yeah. Omniverse, multiverse. Yeah, universe. Yeah. Known and unknown, said and unsaid, acknowledged and unacknowledged. Out on 3 and it leaves. 1, 2, 3.
Interesting.
Did you just snicker? Did you just laugh, Glenn?
Maybe a little, but yeah, interesting. I'm not laughing at you. I'm not laughing at you because, well, you know, when spirits are around you, you can detect things, smells, and suddenly the room is filled with. I've ran so many calls, I'm tainted. It smells like pot, but it's that I can smell it as soon as it's like click.
Yeah,
which is weird, but
you know who that is?
I have no idea.
Who that pot smoking friend of yours is?
I have no idea who it is.
So let me put it this way. So when you're in body, and if you cross over while you were inebriated, intoxicated, like car accident, fell off a roof, you know, overdosed, whatever it happens to be, whatever frequency you were, whether you were high, drunk, whatever it happens to be, that's the frequency your being is on the other side. That's the last frequency it is. So when you leave, you're actually separated from your body, your consciousness. So the body goes, and the being's consciousness was separated from the body, ended. So they're hanging around here, not really sure what's going on. And so they're looking for other bodies, beings that resonate at their same field, their same frequency. So the ones who are drunk go hang out at the package stores. They go hang out in the alcohol aisles in the grocery store. They go hang out in hospitals and surgery centers where there are people there who are under the same influence. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's what that feels like. That's just like me. Yeah, there's my buddy. There's my friend. Then what happens is you start to sober up from whatever it is. And they're not the same frequency, and they are annoyed with that. They're like, no. We've got to get you back to being like where my frequency is. So they start to put words in your head. You start to hear things like, you know, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Wouldn't you like a little taste of that? That would feel real good. That would just calm our nerves. We would feel so good with that. You know, what if we just smoked a little bit, like maybe a half, maybe a hit, you know, and then we can go back in and finish what we were doing. They're influencing your frequency. They're influencing your field to get you to, again, match their frequency. And that is one of the reasons why it is so difficult for bodies to eliminate and get detoxed, because they have that attachment to other things along the way.
Makes sense. One of my clinicals in paramedic school patient told me, this is many years ago, I was on the psych floor. Wasn't admitted. I was doing a clinical there. It was an older black man, and I don't know, he's probably in his 70s at the time, and I'm probably 26, at the most. And he was sitting there talking to me. He says, "Do you know what's wrong with society?" And I was like, "Well, where do you want to start with that?" And he says, "Well, specifically," he was a black gentleman. He was talking about the black society. He goes, "When someone goes to get out of the hood, their neighborhood, somebody's pulling them back." He said, "And it's always been that way." He says, "It's like they're crabbing. They're boiling in the pot and they're trying to pull the one that's getting away back in." So yeah, absolutely. And to touch on another point, because this clicked with me, most first responders, police, fire, EMS, they have some trauma in their past and abandonment. And that's why we go in and we do what we do. And that's why we're like that. So yeah, that's 100%. And I didn't realize that was a statistic until, well, I was kind of caught up in the middle of the statistics, but yeah. And I was like, well, that checks out. So you're right. Yeah. You're just drawn to it. Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what happens is, as we're growing up, the people around us, like Harley, you were saying you grew up with your grandparents raising you. Some of us had grandparents, some of us had neighbors, parents, friends. Yeah. And so what happens is we learn how to do finances from them. We learn how to do relationships from them. We learn how to do money from them.
My grandparents were married 53 years before my grandfather passed away. I've been married to my husband for 20 years. 20 years in February, and
you're well on
my
your way.
sisters have not had that same luck.
It's a life sentence.
It's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes.
Without, and that's what happens, so we learn, but it's subconsciously. It's not like they're saying, look, take out a piece of paper. This is how you do banking. This is how you do relationships. You just kind of pick it up as you go along. What happens is they sell you the program. You buy the program, you install the program, and then you have it running in the background.
Yes.
I mean, my mother was there still in the picture, just not completely. And if she's watching, I do apologize, but I watched her in and out of relationships, in and out of marriages, and I did not want that. I wanted my children to grow up with two parents, and that's what they have done. Well, my daughter she got a great father from my husband. And I learned a lot from them. And they're still here. I know they're still here because my grandfather was a heavy alcoholic. So every time I smell, because he was a Vietnam veteran, so when he came back, he was a heavy alcoholic. So whenever I smell vodka and tea, I know he's here. Well,
Yep.
everyone's like, you can't smell it, but vodka has a smell. When you grow up with it, you know that smell. And I grew up with it. So now when I smell vodka and tea, I know he's around. Or cigarettes, I know he's here. And I smell it quite a bit.
Yep. It's the thing that they identify with in their life. So sometimes it's an addiction item, sometimes it's music or songs or things, but they pick, when they cross over, they pick the time in the life that they would like to be known as. So if they die in their 90s, like my grandmother died at like 98.
Yeah, my meemaw was like 102 when she passed, and I smell root beer for her.
So when it's funny that so that's one of the clairs. Clair olfaction is when you can smell things that aren't there, that is in the visual perception field. And so, yeah, it's so interesting how things like that show up with people. And just being open and aware and willing to like ask a question, to receive the awareness with your body is like one of the greatest gifts. So how do your bodies feel now that we just cleared abandonment? and abandon and abandoning.
I don't have a headache anymore. I had a really bad migraine all day, and now I don't.
I think my anxiety's probably decreased a lot, but
Yeah. So like in this world, like that's not supposed to happen. Like your headache's not supposed to go away instantly. You know, and like you're not supposed to feel better with high levels of anxiety. And so that speaks to the work of energy with the molecules in eliminating things that are not of service to us. Can you imagine how we would be able to function without all of that stuff running in the background that we know and don't know of and about? Like, it's a new game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told you before that I was interviewed, what was it, Tuesday, whatever, this week with the Paranormal White Witch. And I won't, I'll preface this a little bit. I wasn't feeling as bad as I am now, but it was those aha moments after I was done with the interview. And I typically have energy when I'm done with the shows or being interviewed sometimes. Every cell in my body was exhausted. I was physically, mentally done. And I think putting this kind of in perspective as to what you're talking, and I think you're going to give me a message or two also. I think some of that might have been the weight of those past things I realized aren't true. You know what I'm saying? I think you know what I'm saying more than anybody. So yeah.
Yes. And they're not yours to carry. Because when I'm with someone, like I'm with both of you right now, it's sort of like it's an automatic, like, you know, when you turn your computer on, there's like a set screen that shows up, whether you have a screensaver or it's your desktop page, whatever it happens to be. So that's what it's like when I get with a human. So your lifeline is shown to me this way, and I can see all the way back to what your soul chose to first be or do as you left source to go have your own adventure. Then all of the lifetimes up till now and what you have projected into your future lifetimes going forward. Then your ancestors are shown to me this way, horizontal. So 15 to 20 generations, I can see what they passed down to each other and then what you got.
Wow.
That you have no idea is even there.
How do you do the, how do you put up with this superpower?
And then I got to tell you, then karma is spinning like this, like tornadoes on the sides. So how do I put up with it, or how does it?
It would be like what you're talking about would be like Superman at the top of the planet. He can hear every conversation going on. How do you keep your mind and tune this stuff out?
Yes. So that's an interesting question. Thank you for asking. I woke up one morning and I went to turn the clock to like pause. You know, we used to hit the pause button on the top before we had phones that had the pause button. Okay, cool. So it was a digital clock, you know, the ones where you like set and you'd have to go forward and back. And then if you missed it, you had to go all the way around again. Yeah. Yeah, those alarm clocks. So I went to hit the snooze on the top and I couldn't see my hand. Like I could see the outline of my hand and I could see all these like dots in the middle, but I couldn't see a nail. I couldn't see my knuckles. I couldn't see wrinkles. I couldn't see it. And then I was like, you know, I was panicked. I was like,
sure,
where'd my hand go? Right. So I'm moving it back and forth like this, and I can see the carpet underneath it as I'm going like this. And I realized that is the truth. This is the simulation. So you were brought up with colors. You were brought up with matter. Everything started with a thought. Thoughts are energy. So this is how our reality has been created. We've been co-creating with each other because there's no separation, but this isn't actually real.
Okay.
Yeah. So when that happened, everything started talking to me. So because I could see the particles, which is consciousness, everything, you know, had something to say. Yeah, so the bed, the sheets, the lamp, the desk, the clock, everything would like to have a conversation with me. It got so bad that I had to break my doorbell. 'Cause see, electronics is like one of the first things that energy can manipulate the easiest. So when your family members cross over, like some of the first things that they can do is like turn lights on and off, um, switch the TV set on and off, like just random things like that. Electricity is the first thing. So yeah, my doorbell is hardwired into my house. It's not Bluetooth. It's not, battery operated. And so energies that would like to have my attention to talk to them about what's happening, where they'd like to go, the message they need to get to somebody, the gift that they never gave, the present that they have to deliver before they cross, like all of that, they started ringing the doorbell. And at first it was kind of fun. So my son and I, we could tell there was a little octave difference, that we could tell if it was a human or if it was just energy ringing the doorbell.
Wow.
Yeah. So it got so frequent so fast that I was on a webinar and my doorbell kept going off. And I just said, hold on a minute. And I went outside and I ripped my doorbell off, out of, and I had wires hanging down, and I grabbed a twig to tie around the wires so they wouldn't short out or start a fire. So this is the kind of stuff that happens when you get very conscious and you're willing to not have a point of view or a judgment about everything. Everything is just, okay, that's kind of cool. That's interesting, that they chose that, or this person is doing this. That house also got struck by lightning 6 times.
Holy
It was after the second time that I put lightning rods on. I cannot believe it did not burn to the ground 6 times.
No kidding.
Yeah. So what happened was when I broke when I had to break my doorbell, they went to my fire alarm, because my fire alarm was hardwired in also, right?
Yep.
So all of a sudden the fire alarm is going off and I'm on the phone with a client and I said, okay, so I got your emergency and source has your emergency. You just went to the top of the list today. I will call you back. Click. And of course it wasn't the fire alarm where you could just, it was a battery, you could just pop the battery out to stop it. No, it's not one of the ones where you could just walk over there and stand on a chair and do it. No, this is the one that's way at the top of a vaulted ceiling where you have to go outside, get the big long ladder, haul it in, put it up, climb up the ladder to then get that thing down. Yes, that happened. So I had to create a mute button. I created a mute button so I can mute my reality.
Okay.
That allows everything to just be chill around me, with me being in the field, on the planet. Yeah. Game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Listen, I know we only promised, promise, right? Where we only wanted to take up an hour of your time. I don't want to keep you here all night. But I would like to have you back on, because I've got so many questions, and I think, I think I need answers too. So let's get that scheduled and get you back. And we'll also give it a little time to promote the show so we can get lots of people interacting and get some more questions, because I think what you're doing is very important.
Thank you. Yeah.
And give her more than just an hour. Let her have the whole show.
Well, she can have as long as she wants. I got Grayson backstage and I don't want to be rude to him. So,
sure.
But
yeah, it'd be a great topic to talk about with your audience.
What's that?
Conscious education. So what's the one thing that has not evolved in the 100 years since we've been here? Transportation's evolved, communication's evolved, except our kids are still in the seats raising their hands and waiting for the bell to ring. That is not education. There's a reason why that has not evolved. And now's the time. Our kids are ready. Our parents are ready for conscious education, because we're going to do it differently.
Yeah. I think this period in time, there's a lot of shift. There's a change coming. I don't know what it is.
I would love to support both of you now and in the future. And I work with One Nation, which is the Native American population in and out of Canada. So I do a lot of work with them, and I would love to support, the first responders and also our military, because there are things that they're coming back with that are not theirs, that we can eliminate, get rid of, and really have a different possibility for people. I'm in service and I'm here.
Well, I appreciate that, because it's been a stressful time for me, and I think that's why you're here. So yeah, I'll get better, but I will need some help, because it's a dark, deep place. I'll be honest with you. But before we let you go, did you have a message for anyone, me, Harley, Chris, Denise, anybody that you could hear or see, or however this works?
Yeah. So it's a cumulative thing. So my teams are over here. I have angelic, galactic, and indigenous. And then each of you have an angelic, a galactic, and indigenous teams also. So collectively, as a whole, for all of us, they would like for you to know that you've never done anything wrong.
Okay.
Everything that happened to you and everything that you created for someone else was divinely guided. You pre-ordered everything before you got here, and they agreed to give it to you for your experience, for your soul's evolution. And you agreed to give other people experiences for their soul's evolution. You've not done anything wrong. You've all asked for it. You've all signed up, and you've all agreed. And there's a sacred ceremony I do where we close down the play and the characters get to go away.
Okay.
How does that feel in your heart?
Feels pretty good.
That you've never done anything wrong.
Yeah, well, don't tell Mrs. Sport Cat that, but yeah. So.
No, I mean, it's true. Like, everything was already prearranged. You were divinely guided.
I can see that.
Isn't that amazing?
And some of it is pre-programmed too. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
A third generation first responder. So yeah, I can see that. So
yeah. I love you both so much. Your heart lights are so big and so bright. It has been such an honor and a blessing to be here with you and your audience.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Our chat is usually lit up pretty good. I guess tonight they're just listening to me, either that or they tuned to the other channel. I don't know. But I will have you back. I'm going to email you right after the show, and we're going to set up a date. We're going to get you back in here. So I love everything you're doing. Thank you for your messaging.
No, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me, for giving source creation, consciousness, the particles all around us, the opportunity to provide a different possibility for where you are, what you have.
This may sound weird, but the whole time you've been on the show, like in the corner over here where that wall is, I keep seeing bright blinking lights over there on the other, that wall.
Woohoo!
I didn't notice it. I think I'm blind to some things. So.
Well, it's that perception thing of like, if you can't see it, it's not real.
Everything growing up was a demon. If you see something here, is a demon. Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's been hard to break that mold. So that's why I started the paranormal show, because of some of those things. And I'm changing out of the paranormal world because I'm tired of the infighting. And if somebody says they see a ghost and another person doesn't, well, they're crazy or they're stupid. And then with other things you get into name calling and I don't want any of that. I want to just
I've
I want to just
always been taught to be open to the unknown.
Yeah, growing up everything was a demon for me. So and we were
Evil,
I was
bad.
taught other things. Yeah, I was taught other things. So but
Yeah.
Susan, have a great evening. Thank you for letting us have your time. I appreciate it. And we're going to get you back. I'm going to get you can have as much time as you want. We'll give you 2 or 3 hours. So
All night. Bring your sleeping bags.
that's it. Hey, I've had a 15-hour show before. So
we're going to hunker down.
Well, I need it. So, all right, Susan, have a great night. We will see you soon.
Thank you so much.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. She's amazing. She is amazing. She's gorgeous. She's amazing. She's got a great heart.
Yeah, we need to have her back, but give her the whole 2 hours.
Well, sometimes when we schedule people, I put them in a block, and you don't know till you get into what you're talking about. I mean, I've had some guests that I could probably have over for my dinner and keep. She would be one of them. So, yeah, I have. I've had people who come on and it's just like dragging an answer out of them. That's really difficult. But so you can't gauge. But now that we've had her, I would love to have her some more. So
yes.
Well, and we're running late with Grayson. He's been very patient backstage. Grayson is up and coming film creator, and he's got some stuff right now he's working on. He's going to come in here and tell us all about it. Grayson, welcome to the show.
Hello there. I'm still vertical. How are you?
Well, we're glad you are. We're doing okay, I think. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Grayson. I am 20 years old. I'm a recent graduate of UC Santa Cruz. I graduated I completed my coursework in 2 years. I've been making films ever since I can remember. My first film was actually when I was about 6 years old. I took my mom's movie camera and I threw paper airplanes at her from downstairs as she wore my Incredible Hulk mask and my Hulk fists. I want to know where that is actually. But then I started a YouTube channel when I was about 11, and I made little stop motion animations with my Legos. I took I had like dolls, like Five Nights at Freddy's plushies and Mario plushies, and made little stories with them until I was able to start getting people that were interested in making movies with me. And now my goal is to tell stories. I want to tell as many stories as I can, mine and other people's.
I like that. It's kind of why I started podcasting. My dad was a disc jockey, and I played with radios and microphones the whole time. And once I got settled with my career, I decided, well, I've got a big mouth and a microphone. I want to hear other people's stories. That's true, because everybody has a story. Everybody has a different view of things. And so when you can put them all together, and I can imagine as a filmmaker trying to get all the things put together in one place and organize it is hard enough, but trying to see the different views, like almost from like a different camera angle, it's got to be quite difficult.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people will tell you that it's really hard to make a movie, and they are right. It's so challenging to, first of all, get people to commit. That's probably been my biggest hurdle, trying to get people that are like, yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great. And then it's like, day of shooting, where are you? Something came up. Sorry. And it's like, okay. So when you're really passionate about telling whatever story you want to, getting other people interested enough to want to help you is a challenge. And then also making a dynamic production where you want to have different camera angles, different camera motions, mess around with audio, trying different acting techniques. It's all very hard. Or don't even get me started on VFX. So
Yes.
yeah. So but yeah, I think that the most challenging thing that I've come across is getting people to commit.
Agree. Even with this type of content creation, yeah, it's hard to, because sometimes people just ghost you, or
Yeah.
and they'll come in and they're like, "Are we done here?" Yeah. So,
Well,
yeah, absolutely, I agree. It
yeah.
is difficult. Have So the film, I'm probably going to get this wrong. You're still working on the one film, but you've had one that went to a festival already, right?
Not exactly. The one that I've submitted this film to a couple of film festivals. It's called Before Tomorrow Arrives, and I that was my senior thesis film. So I had a bunch of my classmates and friends help me with that film, and I'm trying to get that out. I'm now working on another project. I'm still in the writing process. I'm always coming up with other ideas for YouTube, but trying to expand my horizons mostly.
Are you an artist as well as draw?
No, but I am a photographer. Mostly I'm an action figure and Lego collector, so I like to do interesting things with those. We did this road trip a couple of months ago. We went through to Death Valley, and they shot parts of Star Wars there. And I have my Luke Skywalker action figure, so I was sure to go to the places like Furnace Creek is one of them, where they shot parts of Tatooine. They came out really really well, and I'm a big fan of Indiana Jones, so I took him along everywhere, and we went to Mendocino or Lake Tahoe and just found like the most gorgeous backdrops. I'm like, yes, he has to be a part of this. So there's a special kind of eye that goes along with that sort of art.
No, I know exactly what as soon as you were talking about, I know exactly what it is. When I was a photographer fresh out of high school, I took a lot of photography classes. I did the same thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did characters and stuff, and I did the same thing. And it was a very relaxing thing. I need to get back to it, but yeah, I get that.
absolutely.
Yeah, you see something, you go, it has to be here. We got to do it this way. The lights right, and this, yeah, it's that creative.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think I was reading this one book. I can't remember who it's by, but it's called A Beautiful Constraint. And it's all about taking the very limited resources that you have and making something really, really remarkable with it. And I mention it because when you're working with, like, say you have this big dirt mound, right? And you've got a little action figure. You can, maybe to you it's just a dirt mound, or to somebody else it's just a dirt mound, but through the camera's perspective, it can be whatever. Like, it can be a volcano, it can be this grand mountain, it can be as I don't know, a little anthill, something. So I think just trying to stretch your creative lineage, I think, is really important. See what you can come up with.
And with writing it, do you have a hard time with writing to match what you visually see? I guess is the question, so to speak. I mean, it's got to be hard. You can picture something in your head, and if you're a master of film and editing, you can get it out that way. But
Yeah.
you've got another total different aspect of it if you have to actually write and see it all at once. Now, is that what you do? Do you do that?
Yeah, it's really complicated. I'm thinking about trying to find a specific example here, but when I'm trying to, like you said, it's easier to show something to somebody than to tell somebody about it.
Exactly.
So when I write, I think the actual writing part comes easy. It's coming up with the idea. Once I see it, I feel like I'm able to articulate it in a very specific way. Um, the trouble comes when I give it to an actor, and it's a little things are a little open to their interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And if I say the man looked at his soup longingly, what does that look like? So I think there's only so much as that I, as a director and a writer, can do. It's really up to the actors to fill in the blanks that I can't reach.
Okay.
So
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
Kind of like saying that it's almost like they give your thoughts personality. I guess is kind of another way of saying it. And whatever
Absolutely.
their take is, their view on it. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you were talking about it, reminded me we've had several comic book authors on, and they told me that is the hardest type of writing you can do, because they have to write the actual book, even though you only see a little balloon on each frame.
Yeah.
But they have to tell the artist, I want his arms swung this way, I want him flying through the air this way. And they have to literally write the choreograph and hope that the artist gets it right, and so they get to be back. So yeah, it's very difficult. I don't suggest you get into the Marvel universe. It's probably got to be very rough.
Oh my goodness, I've my best friend and I are really big fans of Spider-Man, and occasionally we'll talk about what's going on with Spider-Man, and we're just like, oh my goodness. He really hates
I'm
Paul.
with you. I'm with you. I grew up Spider-Man, so I'm with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Spidey's my boy. I love Batman, but Spidey's my boy.
Did you growing up? Did you read a lot, or in like comic books or period? And if so, what were you into?
Yeah. So really, my intro to Spider-Man was, I guess, really was my underwear. my mom got my Spider-Man underwear, but I loved the little action figures that I would get. McDonald's had something for Spectacular Spider-Man. And then as I got a little older, I want to say I was about 10, my sister was getting married, and her gift to me, which, thinking back, that's a little odd. Her gift to me was this big stack of comic books, and it ranged from Spider-Man to Star Wars to Batman. I really gravitated towards Spider-Man, obviously. I got into Batman recently, but another big one was The Flash. I thought The Flash was one of the coolest, most overpowered superheroes, to the point where I had an argument with another friend, and I wrote him like a 10-page paper as to why The Flash would just beat him in any way, shape, or form. Of course, he didn't. Hey, that's Tasiel in the chat.
Oh, well, welcome.
That's my friend. So yeah, he's we would talk about that sort of thing. He didn't read it, but he appreciated that I was so dedicated to The Flash. Yeah,
that's good. Those little things do have an influence on us. So yeah. And like our first guest was telling us, you were pre-programmed to Spider-Man because you had Spidey underwear. So
yeah. With great power comes a great underwear.
Well, do you want to do that type of movie genre later on? I mean, or because that's like you were saying, it's hard enough, but now you're making them super beings.
Hello,
Right.
Brenda.
Well, yeah, I do. I feel like everybody wants to do something of that nature, like how Spielberg has his Indiana Jones, or George Lucas has his Luke Skywalker. I want to have a character like that that's so like cool and relatable to an audience that they want to put themselves in that costume or that scenario and believe that they're capable of such a feat. But I did have this idea in the shower this morning. I'm really fascinated by history and the sciences. So I really want to do biopics. And one biopic that I'm kind of interested in doing at some point in my career is on a man by the name of James Callender. And he is this Scottish journalist who basically made a career out of starting major controversies in the late 1700s. He helped Thomas Jefferson, win the election of 1800 by spreading a bunch of propaganda about John Adams. And then Callender went on to also spread propaganda about Jefferson after Jefferson mistreated him, gave us access to, or made his affair with Sally Hemings, his slave, public knowledge.
My
In the
13-year-old son would absolutely love no, he's 14 now, would absolutely love that biopic. Sorry, there's 4 of them, and
yeah, absolutely. It because
'cause
this. Oh, go ahead.
he's on the spectrum, and he has, like, social studies and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
maps, and all that is his little thing he obsesses over.
Yeah, no, because history is it's a blueprint for all of us, and we can learn something from every bit of it. And James Callender, he made a career of tearing people down, and eventually it caught up to him. So that makes you think about what kind of messages you want to share with the world, how you want
Exactly.
to achieve a platform.
I can agree to that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you start putting yourself out there, whether it's in something like this or movies or writing, you put yourself out there open to everybody to say something. It's like you're almost taking your life and just opening it up and going, okay, you're either going to come in and like me, insult me, or not be here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I write a lot of comedy. I love to do comedy, and one of the worst feelings is when you like think a joke is super funny, and then you show somebody the joke and they go,
You wrote that?
or at the very least they go, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, fine.
you missed your mark by that much. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or they laugh at something that wasn't supposed to be a joke but sounds dumb. I'm like, okay, well, now we know for next time.
Well, it's their interpretation, like you were talking about. But yeah, it does suck them off. It does, because I've had some shows that were just like awesome, and I've had some have been like, what the hell was I doing? So
Absolutely.
yeah, 100%.
So yeah, but definitely it's nice to be vulnerable with an audience and connect with somebody, even if you don't think that they're going to connect on a specific thing. Like as we were talking about, it's open to interpretation. I think the way the stories that the audience creates based off the story that you told them, it shapes how they see the world now, and I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Who inspired you growing up to get to where you are now?
Oh, we're gonna be here all night. So funny story. I didn't always want to be a filmmaker. I wanted to be an astrophysicist for the longest time, and that really goes to my aunt Margot, who, when I was really little, would talk to me about rockets. She's a member of Civil Air Patrol. We would look up at the stars and talk about them and star stories. That's a thing that's been going on for centuries, you know. So she was always very encouraging. When I started my YouTube channel, she was always telling me to make storyboards or write scripts, mostly because my stories were nonsensical. My father spent a lot of time in the film industry as an executive producer, so we would watch movies a lot. That was that's really the foundation of our relationship. And obviously my mom, uh, being a former opera singer, somebody of the arts, um, loves to see me thrive, and that's always been really meaningful to me. No matter what I did, she wants to support me. And like I said, she was my first ever actress. So yeah, those are some people that inspire me. Currently, I have a great support system with my friends. Like I said, Hasiel. I've got another friend, Zana. She's great. They all inspire me to be better versions of myself, and I think that's all I can really ask for. People that are supportive.
Absolutely. You got to keep that positivity.
Yeah.
You gotta, and as our first guest was saying, I caught you saying you want, and we got to retrain you to you're going to get.
Yeah.
You say I want, and it is a retraining. But yeah, you're right. You have to keep that positivity because
Yeah.
you're human. You're gonna have good days. You're gonna have bad. So it's good to have somebody to kick you when you're down or jerk you up, whichever one, and then somebody to tell you when you've done something stupid.
Yeah, which I do quite often. But to err is human.
guilty as charged. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you think your future projects are? First off, it's a two-part question. First, what are your future projects that you're working on? And then, since we were talking about envisioning, not wanting something you're going to do, putting a tent out there, what is your one big project, like Sherlock Holmes type of thing? You're going to figure it out. What is it going to be?
Ooh. Okay. All right. Well, I'll start with the first part of your question. So I'm currently working on this very heartfelt story about an elderly man who loses his wife, and he learns to get through the grief through by meeting a stray cat. He raises this little cat, and and he becomes better for in spite of his losses. That's something I'm really excited, and it's taken me a long time to write this one simply because it's so emotionally charged. And if you saw the comment, Hasiel commented, "Crunch Time 2." That's in reference to a 1 minute short film that I did called Crunch Time, where he was actually the main actor in that, going around and jumping on leaves during the fall. So he wants to do a sequel. The big project, like I said, I want to do a film on James Callender, but I also want to do a film on Edith Wilson, who was Woodrow Wilson's wife during his presidency, and after he had a stroke, she ran the country, basically pre-screened all of the executive decisions, and I feel like that has a lot of potential for a film. You know, it's again emotionally charged. There are opportunities for comedic bits, and so much more. I spent a lot of time thinking about this other film, talking about my college experience. The film that I just released is about a college experience, not exactly finding the ideal college experience, but having one nonetheless. This one is a horror approach, sort of turning your college experience on its head and realizing that nothing that's around you is how it should be, and how are you going to survive moving forward. I don't exactly want to give too much of that away because that one's a twisty turvy one.
Oh yeah, sounds like what is this show? Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, you're in the upside down now all of a sudden. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Actually, that's not a bad comparison to draw. It's
And
really
then
great.
you're talking about the cat in the elderly gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably way past you. There was a book called Cricket in Times Square,
Ooh.
and it's an older book. It had a lot of the characteristics you were talking about. And somebody
Yeah.
took cricket and put it in a little box. They become friends, and yeah, so that's an old childhood memory. Sorry, I'm showing my age here. You can
It's
find the
not
book,
weird,
get it.
it's
It's really cool. So, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can find that, get that. That was a good old book. Matter of fact, I wish I had it
Sure.
now. But
Actually, what was the name of it? I'll make sure that I pick it up.
Cricket in Times Square, and I don't even
Cricket
know.
and-
I don't even know if it. Hell, everything's available on Amazon now. But
Yeah. Oh, there it is. I found it by George Selden.
Oh man, it's been so long. I don't remember, but there
Yeah.
couldn't be many people about that wrote a book like that.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of when you were saying that. Is that with my childhood, I was thinking about, oh, I remember this. That's kind of like this story, and that's also something you want to do as you're putting your stuff out there. You want to get what they connect to as well, because like
Absolutely.
you're bringing up things, good memories from the past, talking about like the cricket in Times Square, or Spider-Man. So as you open yourself up, people are attaching to you and being like, hey, what about this?
Mm-hmm.
So what ifs? So
I love the dwelling in the what ifs. Sometimes it's not exactly the best course of action, but just thinking about how different your life can be if you made one small decision differently. That's something I think about often. And I was listening to Susan talk about how her message being everything was guided by a divine being, and how you pre-ordered your basically your the direction of your life, so everything happening for a purpose. I thought that's an interesting concept, and how things just happen for a very specific reason that we're not always clear to or aware of.
Oh, yeah, it's probably the best way, because like she was talking about the experiment, what is it, double blind or the split, when they're watching it does something totally different. And yes, that's absolutely, once you start realizing, because you're putting your energies out there, I'm putting my energies out there, where they meet, we're exchanging, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but it's all energy, and that's how we connect. And absolutely, yeah. And what is pre-programmed, your Spidey underwear, maybe I had Spidey underwear, I don't know. I don't even know they made it back then, but yeah, no, I agree. And I forgot to ask her, she's working on a movie too. I got so mesmerized. I forget, and it just hit me. Yeah, we're gonna have her back, but yeah, she's working on a movie too, because I was going to try and get you two to kind of talk about the movie. So, because it's great to come on here and talk about you, but you want to talk about what you want, what you're going to do, what you're
absolutely what I'm going to do,
what you're going to do. Yeah,
what we're going to get. Yeah,
that's right.
Actually, it was something that you just said that made me remember another project that I'm going to do. It's this series. It's not a film, but it's a series. When I was 14, that was when COVID hit, right? So I was a freshman in high school, and everything shut down.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I didn't have a normal year of high school until my senior year. But
it's got to be difficult.
Well, yeah, it wasn't great, because I was taking high school classes and college classes at the same time, and everything was online. So chemistry 101, I just had to do like simulations online at 750, because that made sense to people. But during that time, a local church, my local church, was trying to have their broadcast, their streaming broadcast, and they asked me to be a part of it. And thinking about how every COVID changed the world in every single way, including how church was done. That was such a very that's an interesting story in and of itself. But
absolutely.
and I learned a lot of what I know about video production by working with this team of people that's still functioning together, trying to broadcast, but definitely getting the messages across the internet to people that couldn't otherwise be in church for entirely other reasons. So definitely talking about the different people within the church trying to make a difference in this world where all the odds are stacked against them. That's a no-brainer story to tell.
Mm-hmm. And add to that, you were saying the generations, because like my mom and family above me, they had never used this type of technology. This was all new to them. We were somewhat, because this was all starting to come about, but to the generation before us, this was all like learning a new language.
Yeah.
And now you're trapped at home. You can't see anybody, and you got your iPad or your computer and a camera, and that's it. And how does this see how through different generations? Like I can't imagine you, because I went from middle school to high school into college. I can't imagine going from that transition, middle school into boom that, and then okay, come on back, everybody. To me, that's got to be a difficult transition. But just in my head, in some ways it's good, but in other ways, holy crap, that changes your life.
Yeah, and there's a really powerful question that steps out of the church environment, but think about food service or any environment where you have a team of people. How are you supposed to be a functioning team when you're not even supposed to be less than 6 feet away from each other?
True story. I was a firefighter, and depending on which station you were assigned to, you either had 4 guys or up to 8 in your station. We had a county councilwoman see us on the fire truck, in our own little closed environment, coming back from a call or whatever, and she wanted us written up because we weren't wearing masks.
Oh.
And then she comes to the station, she sees us all together, and she's like, "Why aren't you wearing masks?" We're like, "Because we're here. We're a team. It's not what we do." And that they were so programmed to, you got to do this. And we told the chief, was like, "Yeah, that's not happening." That's not happening. But they were programming us so much that one little tiny bug was going to kill you, that it had people scared to do anything almost.
Yeah. I mean, I was scared to leave the house.
Oh, yeah. Well, and let me tell you, as a paramedic, I would go on the most terrifying calls where people had 106-degree fever, could barely breathe, and they had the COVID and didn't want to go to the hospital because they knew if you go to the hospital, you're going to die.
Right.
And I've had the other person that has a stubbed toenail and thinks they have the COVID. So I've had to deal with it on both spectrums. And I didn't drink. I still don't know how, but yeah. So it changed the world. Yeah. And well, everybody has a different perspective on it too, whether, my tainted view as a first responder, or, a student like you that was, so to speak, shut out of part of your life. Yeah, you really were. That's the part that usually 9th grade through about your junior year, that's when you typically learn the most. But yeah, you were in a box, so to speak. Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, it is pretty bad. It sucks, but very, very big but. I watched a lot of movies in that time. I got closer to something that made me happy, and I made a lot of films because I really put emphasis on comedy, because I'm like, well, with every reason to be sad right now, the world needs something to laugh at. So I would think of the craziest ideas, like maybe getting the Flash has a speeding ticket, that's a video on my channel, and I really like that one, because every person I show that to, they think it's the funniest thing in the world, and seeing that from people especially during COVID, when all schools are online, or all most businesses are online. Everything is done from these individual bubbles. Seeing them be brought together by Legos that are moving, that's great. My job's done here. So it was bad, but it did set me on this path to, I suppose, taking it upon myself to tell stories that make people feel something other than pain.
Absolutely. Yeah. You were talking about, you wanted to see people laugh during that dark time. Exactly. That's what you're giving back.
Yeah.
And that's a great perspective too, by the way.
Thank you. I mean, and I think I really owe that to my aunt. I called Aunt Margot. I called her every day on COVID, because she's a little troublemaker. She just is. And
We all have one.
we all do. And if you don't have one, you're it.
Exactly.
I called her every single day, and we would talk about, what's going on in the world, what's going on in our lives. And I remember one night, it was, like 10 or 11 p.m. And she's like, well, I should get some sleep. I need my beauty sleep, or else I'm going to turn into a frog. And I was like, what? I thought that was a she mixed up her fairy tales there. But that, of course, sparked another story. And I did this whole improv bit, and just seeing her laugh, because we were on FaceTime, seeing her laugh at every little joke was just like, it was so heartwarming, because she has every reason to be scared. She has every reason to throw in the towel and be done with everything that's in the world right now, but yet she's choosing to still be an active participant in it, and laugh at her own mistake, and of course that's another stop motion on my channel, and she loves that. That's still her favorite.
Did being in COVID change you to where you wanted to be out more and doing things and more active, or did it make you withdraw to where you're doing your own personal projects?
A bit of both. It made me more reclusive in the ways of, like, I don't trust the world right now. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want any part in that messy business. And but at the same time, I realized that with my perspectives, I have an opportunity to change the world in a way, in some way. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I know that I have something to add to this world. So if I can do that, then that's what I'm supposed to be doing. COVID made me more reclusive in that way of having all of these thoughts, but having all these thoughts allowed me the freedom to perfect them, so I could then go out into the world and go, here's what I have to offer. Take it or leave it.
I like that. Now, along that same note, you may not have had this yet, but welcome to being out there. Have you had someone that is just so negative, so disgruntled, so hateful, so mean, or maybe even just treat you like crap online or wherever? Have you had a heckler, I guess is the best word?
I've had many. I was bullied a lot in school. And it was really crazy is my mom was a teacher at my school, and yet this was still happening, which really angered her, because it's like, well, he's one of mine. How why is nothing being done about this? I remember when I started my YouTube channel, and so I was 11, and then turning 12, somehow the kids at my school found my YouTube channel, and they played my videos. One of my teachers thought it was harmless and decided to play one of my videos in class. And obviously they're making fun of it because what I was doing was, looking back, very cringy. But it was still my work. I still had to be proud of it. But they had an in. So at every time I uploaded something, I would be met with comments of this sucks. They would tell me to kill myself. I lost my friends because they decided they would gain more social traction making fun of me rather than sticking with me. So that was a lesson in perseverance, because it was either, well, people don't like what I have to offer, so I'm just not going to make movies anymore. But that was something that made me happy. I got to tell stories. So I had to realize that it was just talk, and that there's nothing that they could say that's worth me throwing in the towel. Recently I got I was my last year of college. I had these housemates that were not very pleasant, and they took just about every opportunity to tear me down, which was hurtful because we started off as friends and we lived together. So I come home to hate, to negativity. But in spite of all of that, I still have an obligation to myself to make an ending that's better than the one I'm living. And through that helps me get through it. It helps me take the fiction and make it a part of my life.
Like
so
you taking psychology classes, by the way? Because you're pretty deep.
I took one or two.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, for a person of your age, you've got your head on square. I mean, it's in your this isn't an insult, but you're more like an old soul. You can go look that up later, but it's not an insult. No, I'm not saying that to insult you. Basically, it means that you aren't who people think you are when they look at you. You're more and you're deeper in here, and you have probably better morals and values than about 70% of the people your age group. So it's not an insult by any means. So
no, I did not take it that way. I appreciate you saying that.
But I agree. You get your head square. You know what you not what you want, what you're going to get, because we're learning that now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What piece of advice do you give young and upcoming people who want to be in the field you're in?
Ooh. I think the best advice is don't take advice. Figure out your own way. I would give a warning that it's not going to be easy, and never gets easier. There are going to be plenty of reasons to stop. You have to ask yourself if they're worth stopping. So I wouldn't. My best advice is don't take advice. Make your own path.
I like that. You were talking about special effects. That's what her son is going to be when he grows up.
Really?
Well, my eldest son's doing graphics design and engineering.
Oh, great! That's really cool. Have they worked on, or have they done anything noteworthy?
He does thumbnails for YouTubers.
Okay, sweet.
And he's done a few of my thumbnails for my shows, and he's in the process of creating one for Glenn. Just Glenn doesn't know it yet.
Oh, okay. We'll be sure not to tell him.
Just one black screen.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah, I was telling Susan, if she can open up and see what's inside, holy cow, you better make sure you're ready for this.
Yeah, Pandora's box in the making.
Exactly. If you weren't doing what you're doing now, let's say you weren't going to make films or be a writer or whatever, what would your second career choice be or path?
Astrophysics.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you have studied quantum mechanics.
yeah, I made the decision to pursue film halfway through my first year at Santa Cruz. So that was, oh shit, that was last year. but but uh but yeah, I decided that making films made me happier. And I have this fear of being stuck, and I felt that I was more susceptible to being stuck if I did astrophysics. But
My daughter
I
did the same thing. She is she's graduating from um Tri-C, which is Cleveland State University.
yeah.
And she's finished graduating from there in the fall, and she was doing early childhood education.
Mhm.
But with everything going on in the education field right now, she figured that that was not the path she wanted to take. Now she's doing speech pathology or something else, I'm
Mm.
not quite sure, and she's transferring to Cleveland State, the bigger university, in the fall
Wow. Well, I
to
mean,
finish her credits, and she's 20 turning 22 in January.
speech pathology. That that's great. I had a stutter when I was younger, so I have a soft spot for speech pathologists. So tell her to keep going. That's great.
Well, she wanted to do special education as her minor
Mm.
because of her brother, but with there being so many shootings going on in schools,
Yeah.
she didn't feel that was the safe choice. But she will have a degree in early childhood education when she graduates Tri-C and goes to the
Right.
major university.
Absolutely. There you go.
Are you finished
That's
school, or you said you're still in school?
No. I have my bachelor's. If I had made the decision that should I desire to pursue higher education, get my master's, I would pursue astrophysics. I get my master's, get my PhD. But yeah, I to what I was saying earlier, I spent a lot of time with my aunt talking about space, and I was an avid reader of Neil deGrasse Tyson's books. I watched Carl Sagan's show. I love I loved information of in realizing that our our existence on Earth is but a speck of the history of our universe. Um, and really, there's so much more out there that we can't even begin to comprehend. And
Yeah.
I think it's a pursuit of answers, and that's what I love. I love the thrill of answering questions. So, or getting questions answered.
You just matched up perfectly. Sometimes this happens when I'm doing shows, but you just matched up perfectly with Susan. Why?
Mhm.
Remember she was saying, "Just don't stop asking why."
Yeah, that's a physicist's number one question.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah. Well, speaking of that, let me toss one of these at you. Was it 3I Atlas? Is it a comet, or is it alien ship ready to kill us all?
Um, I guess my answer to that is believe none of what you see, half of what you hear.
Dang it! I was hoping they were coming to finish us off. Dang it! It's aliens. So,
Yeah.
Glenn, I'm gonna steal yours that you always ask. Have you ever experienced anything paranormal?
that's right.
Um, I don't know. I I don't know.
And do you
I've
believe in the
experienced.
paranormal?
I okay. I this that's a good question. I reserve a skeptical open mind. So I'm not going to say that there isn't anything paranormal or anything, like anything regarding higher powers or anything like that. But I will say that there is something to be said to stick to your guns of skepticism, to keep asking the questions so that you can get a more direct answer. So I think it's less about the pursuit of the paranormal, but the pursuit of hard evidence. So
Why? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? The why?
why?
Exactly. The why? Yeah.
I think it's a very fascinating subject. So I love to read up on it. Have a conversation with Susan. Yeah.
Yeah, she's deep. And when you do your horror stuff, you got to talk to Harley. She's my horror expert. So,
Oh yeah.
she knows everything about horror. That's not my forte. So,
Sure.
I prefer comedies and superhero.
Yeah.
I think I said this after 9/11 when it happened way back.
Mhm.
There's going to be a shift in the way they do things in Hollywood. And I said this, we're not going to have war movies. We're not going to, and there came in right after that, superhero movies were trying to, get yourself out of that rut, because people in our age group, that was the worst thing that had ever happened. Your age
Right.
group, COVID was the worst thing, and so I said, Hollywood's going to shift that. And I told this, I said, there's not going to be war movies anymore because we're actually in a war.
Right.
We're going to have stuff to get us away from the war. And that's exactly what they did. And now I'm waiting to see when the aliens are coming with with all the comments and stuff. That and our government releases something new every day, whether you believe that or not. But so.
Yeah. I think that would be quite interesting for a film to say we have an alien invasion where aliens come down and they're here to I don't know, warn some of us or something like that. I don't know. This is a off the cuff thought, but basically, what if we're the problem? We're the problem, and they're here to sort of vet a solution where
I always
they want
see
to look for an answer. Oh, go
I
ahead.
always see us like, okay, I believe there is aliens, but you know how on The Simpsons the aliens are sitting in the spaceship and they're
Mhm.
watching us and they're laughing at everything
Yeah.
we're doing? Like, we're the TV show. That's how I
Mhm.
see, like, the aliens are. They're watching us and laughing at us because of all the stupid stuff that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty to watch, isn't there?
There's a new show every minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what if the aliens are coming back to fix us? That's the other thing. Yeah. When you said that, one of the guys that I got in the woods with when we do Bigfoot research, and he taught all these young people. He was we called him Grumpy. He was an old retired cop did search and rescue out in California, come here to retire and with his grandkids. And he said, you can go out there and you can woods, you can bang trees, you can yell all you want. You ain't gonna see him.
Right.
That's why we're out here, is to see him. He goes, stay in the woods long enough. They're going to come to us. We're going to be their entertainment. I was like,
Ooh,
huh.
that's a hard.
And he
that's a
was
hard line.
right. He was right. I had the most experiences with any type of cryptid creature or alien creature you could possibly have after about day 3 in the woods by yourself.
Yeah. In Santa Cruz, the woods is the campus. So, I've had some spooky stuff happen. Or like I would hear things. I go, nope, no, thank you.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's me.
It's
I'll go chase big furry things in the woods, but something I can't see, no.
the white half of me going, huh? I wonder what that could be. The black half of me going, you got to get out of here right now.
Wasn't there a comedy about paranormal about black people freaking out? Oh my god! And it was like they did just that. They were like, the white people were like, huh? And they were like, oh hell no, we're out of here. And well, that's how they got killed. They wanted to go into that barn.
Like a scary movie or something.
Yeah, they went into that barn. That's how white people went to die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's funny, but
That's
true.
Yeah.
There was a ghost show on called Ghost Brothers. And actually a group of guys out of Atlanta here, black guys, they own a barber shop in Atlanta. They're pretty popular. And they would go because they wanted to see if there was something real. And when something would happen, they would scream like little bitches, and the film crew's still in there while they've done DS the building. But that was kind of their shtick. They would find things, but they're like, no, we don't want to prove that.
Yeah, no, so some things happen where okay. Recently our ice machine has been making a louder noise in our fridge. So I'll be sitting in my house, and then I'll hear it'll be like midnight or 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and you'll hear dum 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 dum. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I can't go investigate at the moment, so I think hiding under my covers will have to do.
Close my eyes, I can't see me.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, see, my crazy self would get up and go investigate what that was, and
well, yeah, you take a deep breath. I have a lightsaber, and I'll eventually work up the courage and go around, and then put on my anybody there, huh? And then obviously nobody's there. And my parents are wondering
why you run your Spidey drawers with a lightsaber.
My Spider-Man underwear with my lightsaber. I'm
a mom just looks like this. There's something wrong with that kid. So.
Every day.
Yeah, me too. That's great. Well, Susan was just saying the electrical things, the energy things, that's some of the things that they could control the easiest. Just some that out there for you, a little food for thought. So,
okay,
your refrigerator could be haunted.
Oh no, they're gonna touch my leftovers.
Never gonna get that Chinese back.
Oh no, but the chow mein was fresh.
That's it. That's a movie right there, The Haunted Refrigerator.
Heck yeah.
Grayson, you've been a great guest. You've made us all laugh, and I can't wait to see some of your projects as you go along and get some of them done. I'd like to have you come back and maybe spread your laughter a little bit more with some of my fans. And YouTube's touchy about showing things, so I can't necessarily show things, but we can sure talk about stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the both of you having me on and engaging in a quality conversation. Absolutely,
that's what we're here for. And I still don't tell your dad, but I got to book him. So
okay.
He's playing hard to get. He puts you out there as bait first, I guess. I don't know.
that sounds like my father.
Sounds like most old men. Yep, that's him. So
yeah, he goes. I totally heard that ice machine, but I'll have him go ahead and figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, please come back as your projects come along and let us know. Because you've got something to give that is a different perspective than a lot of us. Even my generation, we were never, forced out of school. So everything you have is a different perspective for that. So, and I'm glad. And you do sound like, and I wasn't kidding. You sound like a kid with your head on straight. And so,
yeah. Well, if that's the least I can do,
just go look up Old Soul, and you'll either block me or.
Yeah. So, if I'm an old soul, I don't think I'll be able to work the darn computer. We'll see what happens.
When you figure that one out, come let me. I'm screwing it up all the time. This is just duct tape and Band-Aids right here. Yeah. Grayson, I know it's early where you are, but have a great night. And I appreciate you for coming on. It's been a lot of fun. And in the show links, I can't do it. Well, you put stuff on YouTube. When you initially put it up, you can't put everything, but when we're done post edit, I've got your link to your YouTube, and I've got your GoFundMe up too. So hopefully we can help you that way. But yeah, YouTube won't let you do like 1,500 characters when you first set it up. So yeah. But I got you and Susan both in there. So I don't say Thomas or Dad. He's a good show. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
show.
It was, and
Yeah.
I do appreciate your time. And you can go tell him that I'm not that bad. So I may bite, but I'm not that bad. So
Likewise. I genuinely appreciate this opportunity. This has been very fun.
yes, sir. Come on back anytime. You're welcome. So we'd love to have you.
Yeah.
We'll see you, Grayson.
All right,
Bye.
take it easy.
All right, night. This has been a great show.
Yes, it
I almost canceled it. I was on. It was on there.
Glad you didn't.
Yeah, I am. Oh, like you said, things happen for a reason. So, and I felt something about Susan was like a calling there. So,
yes.
I think it was, she had a message the world needs to hear on some dark days, but yeah. So next week, to let everybody know, next week I am not scheduling a Wednesday night show because I have family coming in, and this messy studio you see around me is going to become a nursery. So I've been, Mrs. Sportcat has kicked me out, and there's the final answer. So there will not be a show next Wednesday, but Harley and I are going to duct tape together and continue the Big Brother show. I haven't figured it out
We
yet.
only have a few more episodes left of that.
I know. And it's getting down to the good part or the bad part, depending on how you look at it. But so we're going to figure out how to make that work. And I post on social media. I'm taking a pause from doing the news show. We'll see what happens there. My heart's not in it at the moment, but then again, my heart's not in a lot of things at the moment. So we'll see what we do there. But so that's been suspended for a little while. And next week, there will be no Paranormal Guys Sportcat show. But if you're a fan of the Big Brother, we'll be there. And next week, I'm taking next week off from the Finland Rock Station. So will not be, oh God, I hope they're not listening. They may have just found out because I won't really be able to be in here. And plus there's going to be a lot of crying kids. So yeah, it wouldn't work out too well. But so hopefully after that, we'll have our act together and we'll get back to normal. So now, Harley, you got some stuff going on though. What do you got going on?
Well, Saturday we're going to talk about the Conjuring house that is being put up for auction on October 31st.
That's weird. Yeah, that was making headlines. That was trending.
It's quite, it's out there because the people who originally had the house defaulted on their payments to the bank.
Wow. Was that the house that maybe a year ago made headlines when one of the employees was told by a spirit that another employee was embezzling from the owners of the house and they fired him? Is that the same house by any chance?
I think so.
Yeah. And they fired him because he made headlines because he filed for unemployment because he was fired by a ghost. And he got kicked off of unemployment, or didn't get approved, I guess. So yeah, that was making headlines. Hell, I think I may have the guy as a guest. I don't remember. So, but yeah. Well, it starts to run together. I mean, I've been doing this every Wednesday night for going on 3 years now. So not everyone, but most of them. So and do two a night. So it's a lot of contacts. So and that was the Thin Line Rock Station messaging me. Guess they're listening. Whoops. So, but yeah, sounds good. All right. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. You're not doing wrestling this weekend, are you?
No.
Okay.
That is next month.
Okay. All right. Well, we will be back. You and I will be back here tomorrow talking about Big Brother, who's going to get kicked out of the house. You've probably been watching live feeds today, so.
Not today. I worked all day.
Yeah, I've had so much going on. I haven't had the feeds on. I need to.
And then tomorrow we have to go back in the morning and watch this 2-hour episode from tonight, and then we have to watch 2-hour episode tomorrow night.
That's okay. I need it right now. So, all right. Well, Harley, we will see you tomorrow night. Everybody, I want to thank my audience, for keeping in there and staying with the chat. It's been a long show, but we've had a good time. So
Yes.
if you're into Big Brother, you'll see us tomorrow. If not, you can come see Harley on Saturday when she does that horror stuff I don't like. And then we'll be back next week with Big Brother. So there you go. That's where you'll find us. Maybe somewhere else. Hell, I don't know. Maybe wandering the streets. I don't know. Some days I feel like it. So everybody have a great night. We appreciate your support, your love, and we will talk to you soon.
You ever wonder,